Welcome back, everybody. So on this video we're going to be reviewing part 1, so you guys should have finalized your creature, and 2, we're also going to be talking about how to design your world and what I'm expecting out of that. So 1 for part 1, designing your creature, you should have the front view, your back view, and then the third perspective that you choose, showing emotion, zoomed in on a certain area, just whatever you choose to show to me. So that looks like this. So I have from head to toe, my front, my back, and then another pose that I choose. Now whenever you guys are starting to work on your backgrounds, you have your creature, you've thought about them, you thought about their different attributes, characteristics. Now you're designing your world, and how does it fit your creature? You have to think about that the whole entire time. There's also 3 things that I'm going to be talking about that I do expect on your sketch, so that whenever we're doing our final project, I will be able to see that and you'll be able to be successful. So 1, you're designing a world for your creature, and then the other 3 things that I'm expecting from you is a foreground, that means it's closest to you, a midground, that's kind of normally wherever you have your horizon lines and you see things that are kind of in the middle, and in your background is way, way, way far away. So these are the planets behind it, and maybe even my bird creature that I have up here that's flying. It's really far away. So he's trying to come in from the background and zoom in towards the middle ground to go land on some of these buildings. Again, some of these ones that are tucked further back, those would also be in the background. So just think about the different layers of your background that you're going to be adding for your character. So I know that this isn't technically like the formal final assignment, but whenever you're starting to work on your project, please do think about texture, think about color, think about the different things that would make this environment really interesting. Obviously you don't want something that's like super boring and then nobody wants to look at it. So you can think about different textures, like this is a little craggly rock. Obviously I have a flying creature, so I had to design these perches that are in these like rock formation buildings, and these are where my birds land so they can deliver their packages. I might also design maybe like another creature that fits within the environment, because obviously if it's a bird creature and it's delivering packages, unless it's delivering other, bird-like creatures their stuff, they have to have another creature to fit in there. So I might be able to design another creature and tuck them in there somewhere, maybe like walking around in here. That's up to you. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I just need to see 3 of those creatures in your final drawing. So maybe here, maybe I have one of the birds that's landed up here. Because I've practiced that back pose, I'm pretty comfortable drawing my bird. He's got his satchel. And this is just me practicing for my final one. Hook beak, there's his neck. And I guess he's just planning out his route to his next place. You can add more texture in here. It doesn't have to be super detailed. I just need to be able to tell like what your kind of final goal is, because we're going to be working with pastel on this final project, and I haven't decided yet if we're working on with oil pastel or if we're working with the kind of harder chalky pastels. I haven't decided yet, so just kind of keep your detail. Do think about it, but like don't do super detailed where I can see every single feather or every single pore or whatnot, because if I decide to do chalk pastels with you guys, you're not going to be able to get that unless we go back with Sharpie or something. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit of detail here and there. I might think about maybe there's some like cosmic clouds that are going on back here in the back. So I got a couple of different worlds. I'm just thinking about the environment, where these guys live, different conditions, all that different stuff. Once I have all that finalized, pretend I'm you. You would call me over and say, hey Miss K, is this okay? I'd approve it, or I'd say, no, please go back and add XYZ. And then as soon as you got that all checked, just make sure that you call me back over again. I also would highly suggest thinking about color, especially because we're going to be dealing with pastel. Pastel has gorgeous colors that you guys can work with, and thinking about that ahead of time, getting a nice color palette set up would be great. So a color palette is just choosing colors that are similar to one another or go along harmoniously with one another. So like whenever we were talking before last year about analogous colors, or complementary colors, anything like that. If you guys forget about them, please just call me over or go look at my word wall, and that'll help you guys out, okay? So I'm going to be finishing this guy up real quick. I'm not going to keep dwelling on it. So, final thing, I need to have 1, 2, 3 creatures in our final drawing. They don't have to be super detailed, I just got to see them. I only got 2 right now. Maybe I'll add one in the foreground in a little bit. Maybe he's flying by, peeking. Well, actually, let's peek his head out right here, right here. So he's got his crown all up, got his beak. There's his eyebrow, eyeball. And he's ready to start delivering his packages. It's hard for me to go backwards. There we go. So I got 1 in the foreground, kind of 2 in the midground background-ish. Now, I got my 3 creatures, and then the other 3 things that I'm looking for is your foreground. These things are very close to us. Your midground, this is kind of in the middle. And then your background, they're super far away. I need these 3 things to be able to help distinguish the space within the picture itself. Once you have those 3, add some colors, add some details, change it up, add some stuff. Change your mind, do something different, that's a-okay. Then call me over, and then I'll get it approved. Then we'll be starting on our final assignment on Monday. We'll be doing practices with pastels and actually start sketching on our final papers. So if you have any questions about this part 1 and part 2 that's due on Friday, or if you have any other types of questions about pastels or color schemes, please call me over and I'd be glad to help you guys out. Have a good one.